Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I am super excited to share the brand new distress color from Tim Holtz called Prize Ribbon, a beautiful deep dark blue. Here are 9 of the 10 backgrounds. For some reason I missed one of them that we're going to be creating in this video. We are not going to go step by step through every single thing just because of time, but I am going to create all the backgrounds and show you how I did it. So we are going to do these first 2 cards first, but let's unbox Prize Ribbon. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous blue. Look at all of these beautiful colors. I want to mention Simon Says Stamp has these in stock and ready to ship. And a big shout out to Simon Says Stamp for sending me these beautiful products to work with for the video today. I am going to take the Simon Says Stamp Waves Builder. I know I featured this in another video. I will link that down below so you guys can check that out if you want to. I am going to go ahead and kind of figure out where I want to start here. Place my Waves Builder in my MISTI, and we are going to build the background. Now, I'm going to use more than just Prize Ribbon. Prize Ribbon is our first color. I'm going to ink that up. I'm using the Stamper's Secret tool to help kind of press that down really well. Then I'm going to clean that top layer. I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to take the second layer, put it in place, and then remove the first layer. So if you didn't catch my video where I did waves backgrounds, again, I will link that down below so you can kind of see this in a little bit more detail because it won't have quite as much in that video. Next color, Blueprint Sketch. One of my all-time favorites. Look at the difference. One of the reasons I wanted to do a stamp background like this is because I really wanted to showcase the different colors of Tim Holtz Distress Blue ink. Next up, we have a little Faded Jeans. Again, I'm going to clean the stamp, place the next layer right there next to it, remove that first layer, and we're going to stamp our last layer for this card. We're going to repeat actually all the colors now, which is Stormy Sky. So this is the color family I picked for my first background. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of where Prize Ribbon falls in the deep dark blue color family. Absolutely gorgeous. The name is fantastic. It really does make you think of a prize ribbon at a fair or something like that. This is Prize Ribbon again, right here. Wanted to make sure and make note of that so you can see the beautiful color. I am using the Oxides to stamp this background. Both this background and the next background are going to feature Distress Oxide ink. I will definitely let you know when I switch to Distress ink. I am using the Distress ink, Distress Oxide ink, and then a little bit of the Distress paint. I'm not using the Distress sprays or the embossing glaze today. So I will try to feature those in another video. This is kind of just what I decided to focus on today and using these in different ways. So obviously this is a stamped background. The next background is going to be similar, just a different stamp and a lot more colors. There was a reason I picked that. Another thing I want to note about the video today is that I am going to create the backgrounds, and I might even create some of the images and things. There will be a tiny bit of out of order. You may see some sentiments be added to cards before I actually talk about those near the end of the video. That's because I actually used one foil plate from Pinkfresh Studio, foiled the sentiments, die cut the sentiments, and used them on my 10 cards. Really excited about that. So kind of, it is a theme throughout, even though none of my cards are the same today. Okay, I have my background. I had the wild idea, and I'm using air quotes for wild, but you guys know I loved my text background stamps. So I'm going to use the Friendship text background with white pigment ink to stamp over this background. So I have placed the background back in my MISTI. I've got my white Yeti pigment ink from Lawn Fawn, and then this beautiful friendship text from Simon Says Stamp. They have amazing, amazing text backgrounds. I'm all about a text background. I have some favorites from Simon, from Hero Arts. I love them all. And I love how it looks over those solid inked waves. This is the Simon Says Stamp Picture Book Octopus. I die cut it from smooth white cardstock, and I am using Shaded Lilac and Prize Ribbon Distress Oxide inks to color him. So I thought it would be really fun to show how beautiful Shaded Lilac and Prize Ribbon work together. So now I'm adding that Prize Ribbon to my octopus, and look how beautiful it is with that really pretty light lilac color. I love the blue purple combination, and I think it's really, really fun. I think he's going to be really cute on my card today. And lots of cleaning of the work surface, lots of inky fingers. Is there anything better? That means that you are creating cards, but definitely I made a mess when creating these cards. I know I get asked this all the time, and so I just kind of want to mention it here. Like, how long do these take you? These cards took me, I worked on this whole thing probably for 2 days. I've had some other things in between, but I would say I did a full 8-hour day of card making for these 4 cards. And the filming and, you know, the starting and the stopping and all of that. I am going to add some detail to my octopus with a little bit of Copic marker. I'm not really shading. I added little dots, and then I'm taking a white gel pen and adding more dots. I am hesitant to say this is my favorite card. It was the first card I made. It was my first idea because I love all of them, but I just have such a soft spot for underwater ocean cards. I don't know what it is, but I love them. So he is really, really cute. I am going to take some Ebony Black Nouveau Crystal Drops and add that detail for his eyes. You can see the Pinkfresh foil plate there in the corner. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. So our next background is the Pinkfresh Studio Color Block Gradiating Stripes. This is going to be super similar to what we just created, but just a different background. You can see that it has all of the stripes for the background can be stamped individually, which I think is brilliant. And I know it's very similar to the other one, but we're going to break out more blue colors. I am going to speed this up just a little bit to save time since it's the repetition of the technique, but I thought it bared repeating because I love seeing all these beautiful colors together. First up, that is Prize Ribbon. Then we have a Blueprint Sketch. Just like before, I'm cleaning the previous stamp, placing the next one where it goes, then removing the one I just stamped. Faded Jeans. So the first 4 colors here, there's not going to be any difference. That's going to be Faded Jeans. Again, I'm using a Stamper's Secret tool to kind of help press my Misty. A couple of my ink pads definitely need me to break out my Distress Oxide reinkers and ink those babies up, but I have not done that yet. This is Stormy Sky. And some of these, you guys, I kind of forgot how much I love. I mean, just look how beautiful these look in these little stripes. Okay, now we're going to break out Speckled Egg, which is a fairly recent new color as well. Trying to decide what's coming next. Let's place that next stamp. There's a lot more stripes here, and I just thought it would be fun to show all of the blues. Next up, we have Salty Ocean. So this is probably the most vibrant blue, royalish blue, maybe I would call it. I'm not sure. Definitely Salty Ocean. It is its name for sure. Then we've got a little Broken China, I believe. Nope, that must have been Mermaid Lagoon. I'm so sorry. Now Broken China. And I really wanted to leave this in for you guys so you could just see the colors all in a row. What do we have next? Believe peacock feathers, maybe? Yes, yes we do. And then tumbled glass is going to be our last blue color. Now, you might be thinking, but there's still some stripes there. I realized that as I got to the end that I have 3 more little teeny tiny stripes, so I just started over. So the next little thin stripe is going to be another prize ribbon. I left it there for a minute and I was like, you know, I really do think I just need to go ahead and stamp the rest of those, because I felt like it was incomplete. Now I could have used a portion of this or die cut a portion of this, but the last 3 stripes are really, really small. So we're gonna go ahead and ink those up really, really quick. I'm gonna show you the 2 backgrounds side by side so you can see all of those beautiful colors. I hope this gives you a very good idea of where prize ribbon falls in the blue color family, in the distress color family. And if you guys can't tell, very, very excited about this new distress color. I even kind of shoved some of my other stuff aside this week to use these new inks. Look at those pretty backgrounds. Okay, for this background, I decided to do a little bouquet, but not just any bouquet, a blue flower bouquet with the Simon Says stamp painted flowers. Now I am going to stamp my leaves with a couple of shades of green ink. This can be done in a couple of ways. You could definitely just do them solid. I tried to do a little bit of like the rock and roll technique. I stamped them first with the peeled paint Distress Oxide. I love this. I wanted a little bit more definition, so I'm going in with Rustic Wilderness, but I do not like those lines through some of my leaves. So I ended up kind of just using a little bit heavier hand with that and stamping them again. We're gonna stamp multiples, and then my flowers, I want to feature prize ribbon, but I want the flowers to have shading as well. So I stamped them first with a little bit of the speckled egg, and then I used a little bit of prize ribbon, and then I actually just ended up using quite a bit more of the prize ribbon. Really, you can do whatever you need. Just a little bit of the blue showing, the lighter blue showing through. You can even stamp over the top of it with the light blue, and I will show you that finished card in a little bit as well. Next up, we have like an ombre effect with the Simon Says stamp halftone square background. Oh my goodness. So these have been out, I want to say it's like 2 or 3 releases old from Simon Says stamp, and there's a circle and a square. I'm only doing the square today, but it would look awesome in the circle as well. But I had not used it yet. Well, Distress Oxide inks are perfect for this. I'm so excited. So I actually stamped it, and I really just kind of did the prize ribbon first. So that's prize ribbon there. Just kind of laying some of that color down and whatnot. And I wasn't really loving how this worked out, but that's the great thing about the Misty, is that you can kind of just keep stamping it and get it to how you want it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with my next color, which I don't think is enough either, probably not quite enough. We're just gonna use the Stormy Sky and Faded Jeans here. Actually, I'm lying. I think I used Stormy Sky and Speckled Egg. Yes. So Speckled Egg is gonna be the lightest color down near the bottom. So now that I'm kind of trying to go more in straight rows, and that's gonna look a lot better. So now I can kind of go into that middle section and add in the Stormy Sky. And I'm actually just kind of, you can see I'm just wiping it a little bit more, and that's working well. And now I can see where I maybe missed, and I can just kind of add a little more ink. And that's gonna give me the beautiful halftone background. I'm really excited about it. I think it looks amazing. It's a very, very simple way to showcase inks, and you could do this with any of your favorite colors. Now, just like my other cards, I want to feature the Distress Oxide inks, especially Prize Ribbon, for my embellishment. So this is a butterfly. This is a Pinkfresh Studio butterfly. I did stamp the butterflies on a piece of Nina Smooth White cardstock with clear embossing powder, and then heat embossed, I stamped with clear embossing ink, heat embossed with white embossing powder, and I'm adding Prize Ribbon Distress Oxide ink first using the coordinating stencils. So we're basically doing embossed resist with this stamped image. Then we're going to take our next color, which is going to be Mermaid Lagoon. And I'm going to ink the bottom part. There's going to be a lot of overlapping. I got this question on another video recently. I think maybe I haven't even got to it yet, but I saw it come in, wanting to know how you know what to stencil first with Pinkfresh Studio stencils. Now, this isn't going to be for all stencils, but Pinkfresh Studio does us such a favor. They number them up at the top. So they tell you exactly what order to stencil them in. You can stencil them out of order if you want to. I have, but it really is helpful. Now I'm going back over the detail pieces on these parts of the butterfly with Prize Ribbon, including the body. And then there's a middle section and then the tips of that second section that we need to add detail to. So this third or kind of middle section that we're stenciling over the top, this is going to be Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink. And I think it's really fun to note, you do get all of those different colors. I wasn't sure that you would, but Distress Oxides are so forgiving and they just work so beautifully. When I peel this off, look how gorgeous this butterfly is. I have to say, this might be one of my favorite new sets. I purchased this. I wanted it. It was not gifted to me. I love, love, love it. Here's a little bit more of Prize Ribbon. I'm going to take the coordinating die and die cut that and pop it on my card. Our next background is another super simple one. This is the solid grid background. This is an amazing background. In fact, we're going to do the solid grid and we're going to do the open grid, but the solid grid first. This is going to be kind of similar to the first card with the wave builder. So I stamped the whole thing. This whole background is Prize Ribbon. Gorgeous, right? And then we did use the friendship text over the top. So it's going to be a very, very subtle text background over this. I am not going to show the flowers for this one or the stamping. It's similar to one of the previous cards I shared, but it's the birthday seedlings. Okay, next we are going to ink a background with several colors. We're going to place a stencil over the top, spritz some water for some Oxide magic for a beautiful fading stars background. But I have die cut this with a Slimline nested rectangle die from Simon Says Stamp First. Then we're adding Prize Ribbon, Mermaid Lagoon, and Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide inks to the background. And my fingers are inky, y'all. I mean, I have made a big, big mess with the inks. It took me a bit to clean up after all of this. This is one of those videos where I literally had so many products out. I just went crazy. It was very, very good for that crafty, creative soul, if you know what I mean, where you just create. I was inspired, so really, really fun. Okay, we're gonna finish this upper corner, which I did get some ink, some darker ink in it, but that's gonna be okay. We can kind of disguise some of those things with creative placement of embellishments a little bit later on. I actually did turn this into a graduation card with graduation caps from the, what is the name of that set? I think it is Class Act. So we have graduation caps. Those are all stamped with the Distress Oxide inks that you're seeing, sentiments and things, but really simple again. So the Fading Stars stencil is what we're going to use. I'm going to clean my work surface. I'm going to get all of that ink out of the way. We're going to go ahead and place our background back on our glass surface, I'm going to take the Fading Stars stencil. We're going to tape it in place kind of around the background, not on the background, but around. I'm going to put a little piece of tape on the back to hold it in place. And then you can kind of do what you want here. I find that a mini mister works the best because it gives a really fine spray. I don't think the Distress sprayer works as well. So I would highly recommend like a mini mister of some sort. I just have mine filled with water and I'm going to give a generous spritz. And you can see that that ink is oxidizing immediately. So I'm going to kind of wipe it, dab it all up, wipe it clean. Look at that, how beautiful. Up at the top, I felt like it maybe needed a little more, and I'm just going to spritz it up there over the lighter area where the tumbled glass is. Kind of buff that away really quickly, and then set this aside to dry. So because I just can't get enough of underwater backgrounds, I thought let's take our regular distress inks, not the oxides, and let's create another underwater scene. So I've die cut a panel using the Simon Says Stamp Slimline Nested Rectangle, and I've got the Slimline Wave stencil, and we're just gonna have a little fun with distress inks. Now I am using the Pink and Mane Ergonomic Mini Blending Brush for this. These are really gentle. They're a little bit more gentle than like the other blending brushes I find. They've got that flat bottom to them. And so I actually ended up using those for this background because this stencil's pretty delicate. I mean, it will withstand some rigorous inking, but I feel like it works a little bit better with a little bit gentler brush. And so I am going to be doing that here. Prize Ribbon was the bottom color, then Blueprint Sketch is my next color here. And I'm just building the color up. Maybe you can kind of see just the difference from those first few cards where I did Oxide, the difference between Oxide and Distress ink. I really wanted to feature both of them here. Oxides have a little bit more of that creamy, you know, oxidation. They've got pigment in those inks. They just work a little bit different. I love both, but I really wanted to showcase the two styles. Stormy Sky is our next Distress ink color. That's the little Pink and Mane Ergonomic brush. Mermaid Lagoon is up next. I usually kind of tap it off over on the side. I'm making sure that it's kind of clean. You can kind of clean off your brush like on maybe a microfiber cloth, a paper towel, or something in between. I do tend to try to give my blending brushes, these brushes, a little bath now and again, just to kind of keep them clean so we don't have a lot of ink that isn't the actual color. Peacock Feathers is next. And then we will finish with a little tumbled glass up at the top. I'm excited to peel this away and show you the background because I think it turned out amazing. And then very, very much like that first card with the wave builder and the octopus, I'm going to build some picture book critters here, and I'm going to use some distress inks. While we use distress oxides for those first critters or the octopus on the first card, we're going to use distress inks for these guys, and we're going to incorporate some other colors, you know, whatever color is needed here. Oh, and I actually forgot. I did not use tumbled glass. I apologize for misspeaking. I finished with salvaged patina because it is beautiful and I still love it. It was the last new color from Tim. There is my background. Now I know there's splatters on here. We'll get to the splatters here in a little bit. Some of the stuff is out of order on the video just because I felt like it was a little more natural this way. This is the picture book Starfish. I'm inking it with Scattered Straw and Wild Honey. I mean, how cute is this guy? Just like the octopus, we're going to add detail with Copic markers, white detail pen. I just love how happy and fun these are. I like using multiples on a slimline style, there's obviously a lot more real estate to work with. And the picture book dies from Simon still continue to be some of my very favorites. And so I'm just going to add some little dot detail and all of that good stuff here. I even went ahead and glued him down and added some black eyes with the Ebony Nouveau Crystal Drops. Very similar for the other two images. I did not color them on or shade them on camera. I am going to tape the Simon Says Stamp Paver Blocks stencil to the front of a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel of smooth white cardstock. And then using Post-it tape, we are going to creatively mask off these pavers, and using 2 colors of Distress ink, we are going to shade these sections of pavers. I'm using Mermaid Lagoon and Prize Ribbon. And I'm going to just switch back and forth between these two. Again, I'm using the Pink and Main ergonomic mini blending brushes for this, and I have sped up the video to show this. It is a really fun technique. You could even do lots of different colors. I mean, I think rainbow pavers would be cute because, let's face it, rainbow, all of the things. But I love this. I definitely was trying to stick with my blue vibe for this video. And so I went ahead and did that. Now I am going to trim this background down. I started with a much bigger piece than what I'll end up with. I don't know, I can't remember. We'll see if we get to the end of the video. I am using some Simon Says Stamp Beautiful Butterflies to adorn this, but we're going to just kind of cut it into a thin strip for the finished card. Mounted on a little holographic cardstock, all of that good stuff. I will be showing a close-up of the card at the end of the video and showing the products used, because I know this is fast and furious. If I had left in every single element of every single card, this would have been a much longer video than anyone wants to watch. So I just kind of tried to keep it mostly to the inking, the distress colors, what we're focusing and featuring today, but all of those products that I'm using, a lot of them are stuff that from my stash. I really tried to shop my stash and use things that I've had for a while, with the exception of, I think, the Pinkfresh sentiments, the foil sentiments, and the butterflies. Most of the stuff I've had for a while, which I love. I love digging back into my stash and using things I have. Okay, I cannot wait to pull all of these masks off and show you this background. Isn't that fun? I have not used this stencil yet either, and I love it. Okay, another very simple idea, and I know that Christmas is a little bit away, but it is Christmas in July, guys. I love that. So I am using this gorgeous Bold Merry Christmas stencil from Simon Says Stamp, just kind of holding it in place and then gently taking those ergonomic blending brushes and blending over it with Prize Ribbon only. Now I want the edges of my background to be light, so I am not going to pull that color all the way out to the outer edge. I am concentrating it right over the Merry Christmas. Now the awesome thing about this is the Merry Christmas can be the star of the show, and we're going to just take it up a little notch. The only color of Distress ink on this is Prize Ribbon. Prize Ribbon is beautiful. I hope this really gives you an idea of the color. I love it for a holiday feel. But to dress it up, you guys, I'm going to take the Simon Says Stamp Snowflakes stencil, and we're going to stencil some beautiful white glittery snowflakes over the top with the Gina K white Glitz Glitter Gel. I love, love, love this color. It's beautiful. Using the stencil pal for a nice even application. We'll put the extra back in our jar. I'm going to peel this up, set this aside, and let this beautiful background dry all the way. And when it does, I mean, look at those snowflakes. You guys, I love this background. So, so pretty. So we did a card with the solid grid background. How about the open grid? We are going to do embossed resist. I'm going to stamp the open grid on a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel of smooth white cardstock with clear embossing ink. We're going to heat emboss with white embossing powder. And then we're going to do a little embossed resist with the Prize Ribbon Distress Ink. So the last solid grid background was the Distress Oxide. That's the solid squares, the solid grid. Now we're going to do open grid, and I'm going to do kind of like I did with the Merry Christmas stencil, where I concentrate the color in the center of the panel and just lighten it up near the edges. I did not ink the balloons that I'm using here in the video. These balloons are the Lawn Fawn party balloons. These have been out for a minute. I was looking for balloons and I'm like, I just need some balloons for this card. I feel like this would be a cute birthday design. Went to my stash. Lawn Fawn always comes in clutch. Used some different distress inks. They all have a touch of prize ribbon on the balloons, just different colors. Combined with that, Shaded Lilac, Mermaid Lagoon, Tumbled Glass. Those are what I used with the prize ribbon for the balloons in the finished card, which you'll see at the end of this video. But I love it. I like the balloons. They're simple. I mean, instant birthday card. I'm just going to buff away any of that ink sitting on top of the embossed areas now. So we have our last background, and this is the one I forgot to photograph at the beginning, but the new Pinpoint Starlets embossing folder included in the August 2021 Simon Says Stamp card kit. I thought we have to use a brayer and the Distress Oxide ink and prize ribbon to ink up our background. So I'm using the small brayer here to apply the ink. The first one you can see there in the upper corner of the video, I did not like how it turned out. I felt like it was a little blotchy. I did not clean my embossing folder. I applied the ink a little bit lighter this time, ran it back through, and oh my goodness, yes, that one is a keeper. Simple, beautiful, lots of texture. So remember earlier when I showed you that waves background and it had some little blue splatters? This is the Prize Ribbon Distress Paint. I added a little tiny squirt of water to help just make it a little bit easier to flick all over my surface. And then I'm taking a small paintbrush and I added splatters to both that waves stenciled background and the Merry Christmas. My Glitz Glitter gel has dried by now. I just thought we need a little bit more, you know, distress to it. And I'm gonna let those dry. Now I have my Spellbinders Glimmer Hot Foil system out. I am using that Pinkfresh Studio Perfect Sentiments foil plate. I'm going to foil the whole thing on a piece of smooth white cardstock using Prism Spellbinders foil. Where there's a little overfoil in the letters, I'm just using a dry paintbrush and I'm kind of it's a little bit, it's not really even that stiff, but I'm just kind of going over them to remove any overfoiling like in the center of the letter E or something like that. And then you take the coordinating die and it die cuts all of these beauties at once, and I use them on all 10 of my cards. So excited. Okay, so I'm using the Perfect Sentiments. There is the foil plate and the die, and also the Tiny Words stamp set and the sentiment label dies from Simon Says Stamp make an appearance on most of the cards. Maybe not all, but most. There is my first card. The picture book octopus was used, friendship text background, and of course, the waves builder. All of these supplies are Simon Says Stamp brand and can be found at Simon Says Stamp. This is the Slimline stencil card with all of those adorable little underwater critters. I used the picture book Starfish and Seahorse, as well as the jumping whale and the Slimline wave stencil. This is the birthday balloons card I was talking about. That's the Lawn Fawn balloons dies. and then the open grid background stamp from Simon Says Stamp. This is the grid background. I use the birthday seedlings stamp set and coordinating dies for the little group of leaves and flowers there. I like that solid grid background. Here is that floral card. I used the Simon Says Stamp painted flowers and the Pinkfresh Studio color block gradiating stripes. We have the Have Yourself a Merry Christmas. The sentiment there, the little strip, guess we'll come back to that. This is the bold Merry Christmas stencil, Snowflakes stencil, and then the Simon Says Stamp chunky Merry Christmas, or chunky Christmas, pardon me, stamp set. Our beautiful butterfly, that's the Pinkfresh Studio butterflies, and the halftone square background from Simon Says Stamp. Our graduation card. This is the Fading Stars stencil for the background and Class Act stamp set for the graduation caps and even a sentiment. Or a couple of sentiments maybe. No, just one. You're a class act. Here are the butterflies on our Paver's background. This is the beautiful butterflies stamp set. Was used for both of these cards here. So let's grab the Paver stencil, or Paver blocks, pardon me, stencil first. And then the beautiful butterflies. And then we have the Pinpoint Starlets embossing folder and beautiful butterflies for our final card. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these 10 cards featuring the beautiful Tim Holtz Prize Ribbon Distress color released in July of 2021. Please remember that you can get all of the new Prize Ribbon Distress products at Simon Says Stamp. The supplies I use to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring distress inking that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.